things above, the stories of God's people, the stories of His love, stories that I'll remember throughout my whole lifetime. And just to make them interesting, tell me them all in rhyme. Tell me the old story. Tell me the old story. Tell me the old story. God's people and His love.
Hello, this is number 38 in Bob Hartman's Rhyming Bible. If you remember the last one, number 37, we left Jesus dying on the cross. Well, he's now been taken down from the cross and laid in the tomb. And this is what happens next. When someone you love dies, you hurt deep inside. You miss them so much you just want to cry. The day Jesus died, his friends all hurt too. Peter and John and the rest of the crew were gutted and just didn't know what to do with the sighing, goodbying and crying. Day one passed, then two, and on the third day, Mary went early to visit the grave. She went with her friends, bearing spice and perfume to anoint the dead body that lay in the tomb. The day hadn't dawned, they walked in the gloom. They were sighing, goodbying and crying. But when they arrived, they were filled with dismay. The tomb had been opened, the stone rolled away. So they went and told Peter, they went and told John. They've stolen his body, Jesus is gone. They've moved him somewhere, don't know what they've done. More sighing, goodbying and crying. So Peter ran off, but John with a burst sped right past his friend and reached the tomb first. He didn't dare enter, just stuck his head in. Only burial clothes where Jesus had been. What's happened, he wondered, his head in a spin, sighing, goodbying and crying. Then Peter arrived and without delay walked into the tomb, and where Jesus lay were neatly stacked sheets and the cloth from his head, like Jesus had woken and made up his bed. Was it possible Jesus was no longer dead? No more sighing, goodbying and crying? So Peter and John both went home, all amazed. But Mary remained and was suddenly dazed when two angels appeared, shining bright in the grave at the foot and the head of where Jesus once lay. Where did they take him, was all she could say, sighing, goodbying and crying. But before they could answer, she heard a voice speak. Why are you weeping? Whom do you seek? It's the gardener, she thought. So she quickly replied, It's Jesus, she answered. Jesus who died. If you've taken his body, please say where it lies. Sighing, goodbying and crying. Mary, he said. And oh, what a surprise. It was Jesus behind her. Jesus, alive. Teacher, she gasped. But he told her to go. Tell all my friends what you've seen. They must know that I'm no longer dead. I have risen, and so no more sighing, goodbying and crying. No more sighing, goodbying and crying.
Tell me the old story of unseen things above, the stories of God's people, the stories of His love, stories that I'll remember throughout my whole lifetime. And just to make them interesting, tell me